with a quick survey by a show of hands. How many of you have purchased a fashion item online? Of course. How many of you have returned a fashion item you've purchased online? All right. How many of you have purchased something online using a chatbot? All right, not so many, a few. How many of you have tried a fashion item online using VR or AR technology? There we go. How many of you have purchased a fashion item based on a recommendation from an analytics engine? All right. How many of you post outfits to social media? A few. Imagine how many hands would have been raised in this room if I'd asked those questions 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago even. Not so many. So technology is really changing the way we consume fashion and the way we interpret fashion. It's really changing our lives. So our lives are changing and we live today in a connected world. This is not new to you, it's not new to me. Our CEO, Meg Whitman, is always saying on stages, everything computes. It's really hard to translate to Hebrew. Everything computes. Everything is smart. Everything is connected. Everything and everyone are connected, and everything and everyone has intelligence built into them. And that is changing our world. Smart cars that can predict a malfunction before it even occurs. Smart turbines that can alert when there's overheating. Even smart refrigerators that can buy things that are missing in the fridge before we notice automatically. So our lives are changing, and there are three key trends, three key technology shifts that have taken us to where we are today. The first trend is apps. Not application, but apps. The number of apps and the type of apps have increased and changed phenomenally in the past few years. There's a research by Gartner that says that in the year 2020, which is not so far, it's 3 years from today, there are going to be 7.6 billion people in the world that will own 100 billion connected devices that will run 1 trillion apps. That's an incredible number. And those apps are the new type of apps. They're cloud-based apps, mobile apps, IoT apps. So that's the first key shift. So today apps are really the point of interaction, the de facto point of interaction between businesses and between people and people. And those apps are the engine that are driving the business transactions. So that's first shift. Second shift is data. Everybody today has been talking about data. The amount of data that we have today has grown exponentially in the past 2 years. It's grown more than over the past 3 decades in total. And data today is not just the type of data we've had in the past. It's not tables and databases that reside in organizations. It's coming from multiple sources, from social media, from things, from machines, from IoT. That data needs to be stored, it needs to be analyzed, it needs to be backed up. But data in and by itself means nothing. Data has no value. The only thing that has value are insights that are taken from data. So data that is analyzed and gives us insights at the right time, in the right place, and in the right context. That's a gold mine. So that's where the real value is. And if I said apps are the engine of business, data is the fuel that gets those businesses going. So that's shift number 2. Shift number 3 is connectivity. Everyone and everything is connected all the time. Our expectation, by the way, no Wi-Fi here, our expectation is to have a connection everywhere, all the time. Our apps need to be working perfectly in context. They have to know who I am, where I am, what I'm doing, what I need right now. And that connectivity is an expectation that is changing the way that we consume fashion and that we do everything in our lives. So that's the third technology shift. So if apps are the engine, data is the fuel, connectivity is the road. All right. So now let's talk about technology disruptors in general. I've been attending quite a few conferences over the past several months in various industries. So e-commerce conference, fintech conference, transportation conference, education conference. Every industry, there's somebody that comes up on stage like me and talks about technology disruptors. And you know what's interesting? All those disruptors are the same, no matter what industry is presenting. Everybody talks about cloud computing, IoT and sensors, artificial intelligence and its derivatives, predictive analytics, chatbots, computer vision, VR and AR, social media, and blockchain. Same technology disruptors for every single industry, so they're changing everything. Of course, they're only changing fashion. No, they're not only changing fashion, sorry. Now, if I had more than 10 minutes today, I would go through each one of these and give you an example of how it's changed fashion. But I only have 10 minutes, so I'll give you 2 examples. And if anybody wants to hear other examples from other technology, I'll be happy to share that with you. So the first example is quite straightforward, and people have been talking about it on stage today, is IoT. All right, 2 minutes, I'll do it quickly. IoT and fashion. Straightforward, wearable devices. Before, when I asked how many have them, a lot of people raised their hands. But IoT is not just wearable devices, right? Wearable devices collect data, and right now we're using wearable devices for data for ourselves, fitness applications, and so on. Consider what will happen if we combine that data from sources that are not wearable devices. For example, data collected on our pulse, our breaths, our steps, our location, with insurance data, with travel itineraries, with the way that we purchase drugs. Those combinations of data create new business models. IoT is also in the manufacturing process of clothes. It's also in the recycling process of clothes. It can also identify hazardous materials. So IoT is not just wearable devices. The second example is a very personal one. That's me in every one of those pictures. So we've seen some bloggers on stage before. I confessed earlier that I am a shopaholic. It's a true story. I wasn't making it up. And in this journey of trying to battle my addiction, I joined a Facebook group. The Facebook group is called Yesh Li Ma Lilbosh, or loosely translated, I've got what to wear. And the idea of this Facebook group is you join a challenge. It's a 40-day challenge. And those 40 days, you don't buy anything. You don't buy clothes, you don't buy jewelry, you don't buy shoes. And not only that, but during those 40 days, you post your outfit every day, and you're not allowed to repeat an outfit twice during the challenge. So 40 different outfits. Believe it or not, I survived the challenge. I even extended it to 80 days. So 80 days, no shopping, not repeating the same outfit. And that has impacted me personally incredibly. But let's think about the impact to businesses of a challenge like this. At every point in time, there are 7,000 people taking this challenge only in Israel, in this group. 7,000 people. Just think what that does to local fashion businesses. Think what it can do to a fashion store that is monitoring this group and knows when people finish their 80-day challenge. Do you know what I did when I finished 80 days of not shopping? Yeah, you can guess. So social media is changing the way we consume fashion. I have 0 minutes left, so I will finish now. I just want to say, technology is disrupting every industry. I have examples from the financial industry, transportation, agriculture, but it's really changing us as consumers, and that is creating growth opportunities and new business models. At Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, at HPE, we allow our customers and we help our customers in the journey of implementing those technologies to change the way they address our new business needs. I'll be happy to discuss that with any of you. Thank you very much.